How do you know when you're ready to get an agent? And then how do you go about getting an agent? We're going to answer those questions coming up. Howdy everyone, my name is Doug Fall. This is Augmented Actor. We're helping you augment your acting career with tips and tactics and tech. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to go about getting an agent, what steps you can take to get an agent. But first, I think it's more important to talk about whether or not you need an agent and whether or not you're ready for an agent. If you're a beginning actor, you're fresh out of school, you don't have a lot of projects under your belt, you should not be concerning yourself about agents and managers and things like that. Your first thing is to get training, to get some practice, to do some theater, to do some student films or even self-produced projects like YouTube and things like that, so that you get practice being in front of the camera or being on stage and get practiced with your skills and developing those. So those are the things you want to focus on first. You want to build your resume for a few years before you even submit to an agency, because agents are looking for kind of cream of the crop, actors that have experience, that are serious about the craft, and that are going to be willing and able to jump in and take on a lot of auditions and projects at a moment's notice, and do that with finesse and professionalism. So you need to know how to do all that stuff before you even think about getting an agent. What market do you live in? So say you've had some projects under your belt, you built up your resume. Where do you live? If you're in some little small town that has one theater there, or maybe a few student films and stuff, but no production companies, no film work, there probably aren't even going to be agents in your city. So it's totally not necessary. If you are a community theater actor and you like to do random shows and you tend to find all your own work, or you like to do independent films and you're finding your own work through online submissions and stuff, then you probably don't need an agent right now. When you want to step up the game and go to more professional roles, more leading roles and secondary roles, or you want to get into a commercial market so you can make some residuals and stuff off of commercials, then the agent is going to open those doors up for you. They're going to have more opportunities that aren't available to the general public. They're also going to have connections with casting directors and whatnot from around, so they'll get sort of insider projects that you will never hear about. But if you're moving to LA or New York and you want to have any audition whatsoever, you're probably going to need an agent. So you find your agent as you're moving into those new markets. It can be before you move or after you move, depending on timing and all that stuff. Also, before you get an agent, you want to make sure you have a professional headshot. You want to make sure you have some sort of demo reel, some footage that you can show, a self-tape kind of thing, or some YouTube stuff, or something that you can put into a reel. You want to have a website. You want to make sure that your social media is all kind of on brand and working for you and demonstrating you in a good light. Your agent's going to use all of those tools to submit you and to pitch you to casting directors. So you got to get all that in order and have some things to show. And then also you just have to be ready to move forward in this career. You have to decide, I'm going to do this and I'm going to dedicate my time to this. And I'm going to sacrifice things in order to go to these auditions and to learn how to self-tape properly and all those things like that. And you should also have a good self-tape setup. Know what a good self-tape is. I have some other videos on that if you want to check those out. Be ready. Have all your ducks in a row so that you can go in and present a good first impression to an agent. It's going to help you get the agent, and it's going to help you get a better agent as well. Okay, so let's talk about how to go about getting an agent. Well, first of all, you want to do research. So talk to your other actor friends who have agents and get recommendations from them, and then go online and find the top agencies in your area and who they represent, what type of agent they are. There's different types of agents. There's, theatrical agents and film and television agents and commercial agents and voiceover agents, things like that. So you want to make sure you're picking the right agents to submit to. Do your research, go to their website, find out what their submission criteria is. Some of them like to have a paper headshot and resume sent to them with a cover letter. Some like to get an email submission. Some will ask for a self-tape, maybe a monologue or something like that. Basically, you're probably going to start by sending them a headshot, a resume, and a cover letter. When you send a cover letter, you want to keep it real brief. You don't need to go into a big history about your life as an actor or your ambitions and drives. You just want to kind of say you're looking for representation, you're seeking representation, and this is the types of roles you play, and you'd love to set up a time to audition or talk. Follow up a week or so later, maybe 2 weeks. It depends. Some agencies get really busy and they don't look at submissions for a while. But if you follow up, it will then remind them that you've submitted. They'll go back and look over your materials. If you don't hear after one follow-up, then just drop it. They're not hiring now. They're not looking for your type in particular or something like that. So it's best to just not bug them. Go to another agency or come back to them in 6 months or something and try again. You can also pick your key agents that you're targeting and invite them to see a showcase or a workshop. Give them comp tickets to those projects so that they can come and see your work. A lot of agents like to go and see new actors working. You can also do general auditions. In some cities, like in Seattle, there's a unified general audition that happens twice a year where actors can go and do a monologue or two, and they're in a room full of casting directors, agents, filmmakers, theater makers. So they're auditioning for everybody all at once. And that's a good way to sort of find an agent that might come to you and say, can I represent you? And often agencies will scout out people that they're looking for that are specific. So if they see you in a performance, they might contact you afterwards and ask if you have representation. And that's a great way to get in the door. That's a step ahead of everybody else. If and when you get a meeting with an agent, you want to treat it as you would treat any job interview or any major audition. You want to look your best. You want to be as professional as possible. You want to follow all their directions. If they want you to have a memorized monologue, then have a memorized monologue. They might throw some commercial copy at you to audition with. And be yourself, be personable, be likable. Ask them who their direct clients are. Ask them how much work to expect, how often you get auditions from them. Ask what type they see you as so that you can have a discussion about that. Tell them about your ambitions and where you would like to go, what kinds of roles you want to seek out and what kinds of roles you don't. You can have some reviews that you've gotten, portfolio of pictures you can bring, a website, social media, all those things. Have all your ducks in a row. Make a good first impression because that's all you're going to get. And if you're lucky, the agency will want to sign you. Now, most agencies are going to have an exclusivity contract, which means that they book all the work for you and they have to be the first point of contact. So if somebody approaches you with a project, you're supposed to send them to your agent and not deal with saying yes or no. And you never deal with money outside of the agency as well. You always refer people to your agent, let them deal with all that, and they will have an open line of communication. You also want to make sure that you like your agent. If you feel talked down to or berated by your agent, then that's not a good match. Your agent works for you as much as you work for your agent. So there has to be a good working relationship there. Now, your agent may suggest that you get new headshots or may suggest that you take some workshops, that you need a little bit more work and those kind of things. They never should demand that you take their course or their photographer or something like that. That's unethical and not a good agent. But if your agent is recommending something to you, they are doing it because they know that that's going to help you get cast. They are doing it because if you do that for them, then they know that they can count on you and they can trust you. And if it's not working out with an agent, they can drop you or you can drop them. So just remember that it's sort of it's a partnership. Once you have an agent, they're going to be calling you sometimes on a moment's notice, and you have to be available. You have to get back to them within like 15, 20, half an hour from receiving a notice and let them know whether you're available. If you say you're available, then make sure you're available. If they want you to look clean cut, tell them you're clean cut. If you've changed your appearance recently, make sure your agent knows. Update your materials and send your new materials to your agent. If you update your demo reel, make sure your agent knows about it. If you update your website, your headshot, make sure your agent knows where to look for your latest materials. All agencies will have some sort of profile that they use, digital profile. So you want to fill that out with all your skill sets and your credits and stuff like that. So they have information that they can send out to casting directors, because they're pitching you to casting directors. Once you have an agent, you can't just relax. Even if you have an exclusivity contract, you still need to go out there and find your work. You still need to seek out networking opportunities and bring those things to your agent. When you bring work to your agent, that really makes them happy. They're going to work extra hard to bring more work to you. So I hope this video helped you decide when the right time to get an agent is and how to go about doing that. If it did, make sure you hit that like button, because that really helps me out. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I will be happy to answer questions for anybody. I invite you to take a look at my Patreon page. I have real good rates over there for anyone who wants to dive a little deeper into behind the scenes and early access videos. And I'd love to have you see you over there as well. So check that out. And as always, I really love seeing you here. There are some videos on your screen you might enjoy as well. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you next time.